get started. It's kind of loud in here. Thank you for coming. I think time is the biggest commodity in life. Can you all hear me? No, okay. Before I get started, I'm just going to try and figure out a little bit more about who's here. So raise your hand if you're already doing the Forever Pack or Isagenix, or you've done it in the past, so I just know. Okay. Awesome. Raise your hand if you've had any positive effect from using it. Who's willing to share just something that they've had in terms of a positive impact?
I've had an extreme amount of energy, and it was just telling Paul the morning ones, I take her at 6:30, and I have this stupid crazy energy that goes on, and I'm already energized anyway. So then I was taking them in the evening at about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Oh my God, I couldn't sleep because I got myself up till 3 or 4 in the morning because I lost energy. And I started the next one to take again. Well, now I take it, right when I turn out the lights up there, that's the last thing I do is take the pill. So I could go to sleep and then I sleep. So the energy has been great. And I lost 5 pounds. Not about my second order is just I'm chilling right now.
Who else is that yet? Come on, Robert, what about you? Come on,
Well, I had a pituitary tumor in the brain, and I lost. You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Definitely.
Oh, I didn't tell you.
Okay. And I lost weight all the way down to 134 pounds. And I had this dizziness, and I would look down and come up like in the middle of the night. If I would move, I'd turn over. You know how you turn over and change your position? I get dizzy. So I started taking Isagenix. The dizziness went away. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't smell. I know.
You couldn't smell before?
I couldn't smell because I couldn't smell. I just, and I felt like, ooh, I smell you cooking downstairs. Ooh, I smell onions. But I couldn't smell. And then I was dizzy, so I'm not dizzy anymore. I remember one day I was at the karate school, and I went down to pick up a bag, and I raised up and like, whoa, Brandon, look. That's my son. I go, look. You go, what? I'm not dizzy. You go like, Dad, for real.
This is like Team Black Belt here. So Kim, can you share a little bit about Tim's a nurse, and share a little bit about your health.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm the nurse practitioner, and I have lupus. So if anybody knows what lupus is, it's the autoimmune disorder where my own immune system, so my army in my body, who's supposed to attack like viruses, bacteria, and so forth, and keep the invaders out, thinks that my own body is an invader. So my own body attacks itself. So I was diagnosed in 2011, and I have central nervous system lupus, which it affects my brain, spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system. And I was literally paralyzed for, I don't know how long. It took me 3 months to learn how to walk again. But I tried everything under the sun, and thank goodness, my awesome Laura, she's my direct upline. She introduced me to Isagenix, and because we lived in the same apartment together when she was here in Denver years ago. And since then, I have been able to function as a human being again. I mean, literally, out of bed, energy, no fatigue, no pain. I know I'm supposed to be compliant, but it's actually helping us.
So you can say, so you're in remission, right?
I'm in remission. Yes. This part. I just pulled that.
In what?
Because when I met Laura, I probably weighed like 145 pounds. And I was like, well, I was big. I now weigh 150. It took me probably 5-8 years to lose that with the oxygen, but I did it. I still have my one. I got them from the wine.
He's my
And I try to walk 2 to 3 miles every day.
Wow.
Because I can't do those exercises.
Honey, I can't even do those.
I'm 70 years old. I can't do that. But I will.
What's those exercises and stuff?
She's like, I have these under thighs and these grandma arms, and I'm like, I took a before picture to what she is now. Those 5, 8 pounds, or whatever, 15 pounds, she is solid muscle. So I was like, you are not tipping the scale anymore, because once she lost the 15, your body, now it has all been solid muscle. I mean,
And I
she
try to
is
do it.
tighter,
I
leaner,
go
and she's
off.
amazing. No, it's amazing. Who else? Paula?
So I'm going to start off with the fact that I'm 41 years old. My son just turned 3 years old yesterday. And so I didn't start isogenesis until January because Laura said you got to switch your multivitamin, and I just said yes because I trust her. I trust her to tell me what to do to get the best results out of my body. So now I work out 5 days a week for 5 minutes from home, and I share my workouts. I lost over 45 pounds. I've kept it off. I used to work out 5 to 7 days a week, 2 to 3 times a day, to be the same size or that I am now. So people said that being a mom was going to ruin my body at my age.
Girl, you look hot!
I think when you keep it simple is the main message here, that your body needs the nutrition, your body needs the support, and when you find the right way to do it, it's so easy. So thank you all for being here, because it doesn't have to be hard to get to the next level. We're going to take it down a notch. We've made it too complicated. I used to overhaul. Now I 1-2 step it. So thank you guys very much for being here.
Okay, so first of all, I'm coming over here. I'm 10 years older than her, and I got a show on this one. Seriously.
I know. She did like that, like, you got a kid.
I was pretty impressed with myself until I
Wow.
met you. So I got some number 2.
She did woo-woo.
So I actually, she didn't know Lauren. I met her on a Facebook post. It was right before my 50th birthday. My daughter was a cheerleader in high school. So I don't care what they tell you about boys and what they eat out of house and home. Take 20 girls at your house. They can eat just as much as boys. Like I'm telling you, I was cooking like crazy, and I was eating the same things because I'm feeding tons of girls. I got a carb load for competitions, and it's year-round. So I was gaining a little bit of weight, and I was getting older. So it was right before my 15th birthday. This is what I said. I'm not going in looking like this. I'm not going to do this. So it took me a little bit to get on track because my birthday is in May. I started on the program. My job is a lot of client interaction. When I met Larry, I'm having 3 lunches a day sometimes. I have dinner and drinks. And so my job is food and drinks all the time. I like my wine, and one time she says to me, she goes, Melissa, have you quit drinking yet? Like it's an AA I said, no, I mean, it's not gonna happen. I appreciate that about her. So she did her work with most parameters. So it took me a little bit to get back on track, but after the first of the year, my daughter's off in college, she's getting ready to start her sophomore year. In January, I said, this is it, I gotta focus. So since the middle of January to April-ish, because this is another crazy season for me right now with a lot of events, I lost 30 pounds in 3.5 months, maybe. All the time. So it's when they say it's 80% food and 20% working out, it is very true. I have found my new addiction, which is SoulCycle, which I love. It's crazy insane. You can't think. You sweat like a mad person. I don't talk about wine that I drink that learns something else. I'm totally good. So that's simple. It's easy. And it's like doing it.
So thanks so much for being vulnerable, getting on the mic, sharing your stories. And then who's brand new? Who is like brand new to this? Awesome. I really appreciate, your support. I mean, the people who brought you here saying I'm at least willing to listen to what's going on, support you on this, and maybe I'll learn something or want to do it as well. So thank you all for coming. I believe impossible is an opinion. And I learned that at a very young age. Okay, so then I met my husband who's like, can't does not exist in my dictionary. And I'm like, I'm gonna marry you. So let me think about that. Impossible in terms of your health. Impossible in terms of your age or your decade. I'm 43 years old. I look and feel better than I did at 33, maybe even 29. Okay, and I really believe that when someone says just because you hit a certain age, that's gotta go to, like, downhill, I'm like, that doesn't have to be that way. Stop. Okay, that is just a belief system that you are latching onto, maybe to justify how you currently feel about yourself. And if you want to continue down that path, you can, or you can say there's something else that's possible. And when you believe that something else is possible, and you make the decision towards change, things come along your path. I learned this at a very young age. When I was 6 years old, I saw my mom get diagnosed with cancer, stage 4B, and it was everywhere in her body, everywhere. They gave her 2 years to live. And I remember her saying, she had a priest come into the hospital room, and she was crying, because we were all so little. And she's like, they gave me maximum of 2 years. And the priest told her, and he was like, that doctor's not God. Like, you just don't know. And she signed herself out of the hospital. The doctor told her she was going to be signing her death wish. And she made a decision to live. And she was going to find a way to survive. And again, back to impossible is just an opinion. The doctors were like, that's not possible. That's not possible. And what I really want to challenge you all tonight in this, I was going to say broadcast, because usually I'm on this YouTube show, on this event here, is think about any time you've had that limiting belief. Because I met my husband at age 19, and like people would be like, just wait until you're 30. And we're like, okay, what's going to happen at 30? Wait until you're 40, or wait until after you have your 3 kids, wait until this, and just really keep thinking about that. Because the more you think and believe it, the more that you're setting that expectation for yourself. So I'm of the breed that, like, when everyone's going one way, I usually tend to go the other way. And then I say, there's really only 2 ways that you're ever going. You're either like on a trajectory going down, which I call the down spiral, which is you're stuck in something that you don't want to be in, or you're on a trajectory going up, which I call the up spiral. And my whole thing is about up spiraling people's lives. I know my purpose here on this planet. Now I understand my name. Laura means towards the light, towards the aura. And I just help people bring a lot of awareness into their life in terms of what are you currently thinking, what are you currently doing and acting upon, and what are your feelings about it. If it feels good, you're likely in an up spiral. It's like your intuition saying, good, go that way. And if it doesn't feel so good, that's not the direction that is really your truth, where you're meant to be going. So I'm here tonight to really push the envelope of humanity in terms of health, science, and to really explore with you the Nobel Prize winning science that happened in 2009 that has not yet gone mainstream. Okay, that literally has not yet gone mainstream. And I've always done this work. I've done this work in different capacities. My past was working with kids in education. I grew an education technology company to 700 locations, and that was my family's business. We then partnered with Discovery Channel, and it was so fun working with kids, because kids, if it's like, you guys are all being nice and sitting here, but if it's not interaction and engaging, they just like literally would be running out the door. And I always said they were our best customers to work with, because they're real. There's not all this BS, there's not all the layers of everything that we go through, right? They taught me so much. But we worked with pushing their human potential. You know, again, they could do anything. We worked with kids in the inner cities, all that. Then we started opening gyms and realized, how do we push the human potential? They were really tough workouts, bringing all the principles of what we had done in the education realm. Anyway, all these things, you know how everything leads you to everything leads you to everything? I feel with the information I'm going to present to you tonight in terms of the science of telomeres and DNA research and how profound it is when you learn about how you can actually like age in reverse and flip on your telomeres and do all kinds of stuff at a DNA level. I find that the more I dive deeper into this, the more I'm like, this pulls in my education years of educating people on stuff, whether it was professional development of teachers, growing a company, opening gyms, doing even isogenics for all these years. Not the wrong way, but just a way more complicated way of really focusing on weight loss. And what you just heard are dramatic stories of people who have been doing it a while with us, likely because we used to like really focus in, especially owning gyms. We'd see people coming in wanting a physical transformation, wanting to change their exterior. And I knew there was all these other things, you know, because I saw my mom with cancer, and I'm just like, it was way more than just physical. It was mental, it was spiritual, it was emotional. It was all these things coming together, making a really congruent approach. And if you can match all these things up, amazing things can happen. So that's what I'm here for, because now that I am diving into this science, and I'm just gonna give a disclaimer. I might say the wrong things, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a believist. I'm a real worldist. I just work with so many thousands of people now to unlock their truest, fullest potential, especially in their health, especially in their bodies, especially shifting their mindsets to believe that whatever they thought was not possible could actually become possible. And it has just opened up extraordinary doors. So, and it's now turned into my business. Whereas now I'm like, could you have told me that I'd be doing this 10 years ago? I don't know. I would have probably said maybe, but you know, again, all these crossroads happen for a reason. So the next thing I want to bring up, I'll be talking tonight about two really interesting products, in particularly one that I really want to share with you, called Isogenesis. And it's named the Forever Pack because we really feel like we should be on something like this forever when you find out something of the magnitude that this is. But all this up, I just wonder in the audience, does anyone know what this is?
Chromosome.
What is this? What is this? Like, give me your best guess. Electrical.
Telomeres.
Telomeres. Thank you, Robert. No. Okay. Has anyone ever heard of a telomere prior to, you know, even getting a telomere? It's just okay. So this is the 2009 breakthrough science. So I'm just going to kind of guide this. You don't have to worry about seeing this. It's just really my guide. In 2009, they found that there is, if I were to pull you apart, you're not just, what's so cool, we're not just like a solid being. We're just bunches and bunches of cells all brought together. Not thousands of cells, not, you know, millions of cells, not even billions of cells. Trillions of cells. So if you really look down at your skin right now, it's just a community of skin cells hanging out together. Right? And it's a community of liver cells, a community of all these cells functioning. And if I were to continue to break you apart at the most minute level, inside your cell is a nucleus, right? Inside the nucleus are your chromosomes and DNA. So the chromosomes, that's what this is. This whole rope is a chromosome, and the telomere is the tip of your chromosome. Okay. And what they found, does anyone need any lines?
You're not raising your hand, you're my friend.
I know. Come on. What they found, she's got one.
Anybody else?
Anyone else?
Chardonnay?
Yes, please. So back in 2009, and this is, that's okay. What's so crazy to me is, because I worked in the school system for a long time, and you know, we're still training our kids for like the factories, right? Like we're still like really back in the Industrial Revolution. In the medical community, I found that a lot of doctors didn't even know what a telomere is. Yet it's funny because I was just back east, and my nephew, who's like a sophomore in high school, I have this in my sister's house, and he's like, oh, that's DNA. I'm like, do you know the end of the DNA? He's like, yeah, telomere. I'm like, you know. There's actually, it's new. 2009 in the medical community is new. Okay, so but back to your cells. If I were to break you down at a cellular level, and I'm just going to zoom in on this. I know it's hard to see for you guys, but there's the little, you know, your DNA and chromosomes inside every single nucleus. And inside that is the software that makes you you. You're 23andMe, has anyone ever done that? 23 on one side, 23 on the other. Like, that's what makes you you. It gives you your brown eyes, it makes you you. Okay? Every, yes. Oh, yeah.
What's up, man? Can I buy these? You know. Oh, look at over there.
So what happens is your cells are constantly, there's one thing that has to do with aging. And aging is actually like a degenerative disease. It's your cells degenerating. So as your cells are copying, every single time that they make a copy of themselves, it's kind of like imagine a little photocopy machine going shoot, shoot, like on your strand, okay? It can't possibly get to the end. So it breaks off a little bit. So the end cap of your chromosome or your DNA is what's called a telomere. And they equate it, the scientists equate it to like the shoelace end cap. You know how you have the plastic end cap to the shoelace? So what happens when the shoelace starts to fray is, you know, your shoelace comes apart, kind of like this. This is actually aging. And this was really breakthrough science when they really started to find out what was going on at a telomere level inside our cells. So when you're born, when you're in utero, this is what your telomeres look like. They're like perfect, and they measure it in the form of bases. So this will be 15,000 bases. When you're born, you're at like a little bit frayed, you're at like 10,000 bases. Except today, kids are actually recognizing in utero, they're being born with type 2 diabetes and all kinds of things because their telomeres are fraying even faster due to the stress that's happening. Now, I mean, as a mom of 3 kids, I'm on a mission also to educate because they're saying that the next generation of kids are not going to outlive their parents. It's because their telomeres are shortening at a faster rate. But just know, as you age, every time your cells duplicate, every time they continue to fray. They continue to fray. And eventually, when you get down to 5,000 bases, you die. So a bunch of years ago, they came out with a test that you could actually test your telomere length. And it was a little controversial because I was like, do you want to know? Like, do you want to know how close you were to 5,000? Because that's basically when your cells die, senescence, death of the cell, you really don't want to know that. Again, it's not really our goal, right? But what they did start to realize is 2 important things. One, what causes the shortening even faster to happen? And 2, ways that we can, suppress that shortening process, okay? So 2 things. Now imagine, inside here, in your DNA, are your chromosomes, are the software that makes you you. So if you have a disease, they linked every disease back to a telomere issue, because let's just talk about your eyes for a second. If you had eye disease, as your cells stand out and the telomeres are being compromised, the software inside is being compromised. So every time that the cell is duplicating itself, which is happening at all times in your body, it creates a set of symptoms, because just like a software virus in a computer, You know, the same thing's happening in our cells. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all of those things that are happening, any degenerative disease can now be linked back to a telomere. And this, to me, was groundbreaking. Because there's two things I feel like that if you're gonna walk away with two things from me tonight, it's gonna be about the second half of my presentation, which is getting your body in homeostasis, pH balance, because disease and cancer breeds in an acidic body. Most people don't realize, just like when I started Isogenics, that they're very acidic. Lemon out of wine, which I love too. Coffee, you know, salty sweet all day long, kind of going up with a salty sweet roller coaster of food. And versus being in homeostasis, saying, I'm gonna eat 85% healthy, 15% intentional fun, I'll still have the pizza and all that, but I don't need it. It's way different and way simpler, like Paula said, to get healthy when you're not craving it. So an acidic body craves acidic foods. So there's one piece there, but an acidic body also breeds disease, because just imagine, they say that all diseases kind of are inside us at all times. It's just, are we giving our bodies the environment to allow them to come to fruition, okay? So that is a big takeaway that I want you to walk away with tonight that I'll be covering. And the other takeaway that I think is the most groundbreaking is this Nobel Prize science, because what happened was Dr. Bill Andrews, who's also in here, he led a team. So they found, you know, okay, first they found that there's this thing called a telomere. Then they realized when it frays, we degenerate. Then they realized, well, that's what aging is. Aging is simply the cells, again, degenerating, or disease. Then they realized, again, they could suppress it by, and then they had all these articles come out. You can eat healthier. You know, all the things you're supposed to do. You can exercise, but not too hard. Actually, exercise lighter. You can meditate. You can be more mindful. You can be happier. You know, you can change your attitude. And all those things help you not have a rapid rate of telomere shortening. So that was a big deal. But then there's Dr. Bill Andrews, who's in Popular Science magazine was named the man who would stop time. And he had a very similar case of like that I had. My mom's alive today. I saw her beat the cancer, and she's just an amazing woman, just like my mom along here. Tough ladies in my lineage. You know, Bill Andrews saw his grandfather or a family member get cancer, and he and his dad were like, we should cure aging. And he's like, I'm gonna cure aging or die trying. That was his life mission. So he, you know, is now leading the team of scientists and researchers, and he spent over $30 million testing over 300,000 compounds of how can we not just stop the telomeres from shortening, but what he became known as is he found a gene inside he found a gene that would induce an enzyme called telomerase. Telomerase enzyme, when you can flip it back on in your cells, regenerates the telomere. Regenerates. So now you don't have to worry about it just fraying or fraying a lot and degenerating. You can actually give yourself a support system that can flip your telomeres back on. Okay, now this was just like so out there originally, but then they put it to the test. So Harvard Research did a study. I'm gonna play this, and I'm just gonna put the microphone by my computer. Diane Sawyer did a special on them, and I got it teed up. I'll do my best. Otherwise, I'll send you guys this video. Because I brought a screen. I had everything Amazon shipped to my mom and mom's house. And I brought all this fun stuff, and I'm missing like one cord for tonight. So I'm gonna do my best right now.
And now I turn over you. This is an occasion of the corner. News tonight with pioneering lives. What does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Bunting reporting.
In the movie Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for senior citizens. But now researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. We all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosomes seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed. As they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding. But the one on the left had its telomeres look back on.
And you can see that essentially now have a dark color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy shape.
More dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of the normal brain. And the patient with severe Alzheimer's, the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size. As for humans, while it is just one factor, scientists now say by looking at our blood cells and measuring those telomeres, we get a better idea of how old we live. The longer the telomere, the better the chances for a more graceful.
Okay, well, you get my idea. And actually, that's just one of many. I mean, there's like doctors saying that, you know, giving it to 400 patients, what they've, you know, gone through, that was the one variable they changed. So I'm just gonna go back to the presentation for a second. I love how the doctor's like, it was remarkable. I'm like, that's like, oh my God, right? I'm just like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? And so I realized I really started diving into this science in December. I've been on Isagenix for 8 years. I started for my own weight loss journey, but at 38, I started taking these AM and PM vitamins that Isagenix had. And they had the Isagenesis in like their AM and PM packs. So I didn't realize that I was getting it. I just knew at 38, I was like, I want to feel better in my 40s and in my 30s. Like, what else can I do? I knew what I was doing with Isagenix was working. But I'm like, I don't take vitamins. I don't really love taking pills. But okay, let me give it a shot because Isagenix is really well known. It's like water soluble, all whole foods, whatever. You know, all the best of vitamins. But this was in it. And because I'm not much of a pill taker, I was only taking it one a day. So they have like the AM and the PM packs, and I was literally basically getting half the recommended dose then for the last 5 years. So from 38 to now 43, I took only half dose. And my before and after, I don't know whether you guys have seen it on Facebook, but I was like from puffy to like now like ripped, like 6 like sexy nothing impossible. But you know, and again, I didn't change much. And since January, I've been now that I know about this, because I started diving in, my dad had heart surgery in January, and I'm like, what else could I do for my dad? He wasn't really taking, you know, my parents took me 4 years to get them on Isagenix. 4 years, okay? And then my mom's feeling so good. Yeah, you guys, it took us so long. Sometimes your parents, like, own family is the hardest. But now, I mean, what's so crazy with my dad is I started diving into this, because for recovery, it's amazing. Okay, so back to that, again, short telomeres, long telomeres. You want long telomeres, right? Everyone now knows that information. If you guys want to dive into the Nobel Prize winning science, or you want to see like telomeres in cancer, telomeres in Alzheimer's, telomeres in lupus, you could go to PubMed, like PubMed, and it's any publication, medical, like publication that has been published on any disease in telomeres. I haven't even gotten into the Isagenesis yet. I just wanted a first cover, and the rest is stats. I know you guys are like very with me right now. But like this is, just imagine as they're fraying, the nucleic bond, like that bonds are stuck together is what's fraying. And like if we could stop that from happening, again, it's just to me, I can't wait to see what I'm gonna look like at 53 or 63 or 73. They actually say the human body is meant to live to like 120, 125, and that it can go back to at least feeling like you're in your 20s or 30s. And I'm just like, yes, like all the energy.
So if you look at your family history, because this is part of what she didn't even know this. So I feel like I'm 20 inside, seriously, still inside. My average age of my family is 104. I can't be 104 like no, one because I got too much to do. So I want to live the best life I can as long as possible. So whatever I need to do to
Keep that going.
You go, girl.
That's the mission, because again, what was stamped in my head as a young girl was like, live healthier longer. Like, it doesn't get more simple than that. Like, make the decision to live healthier longer, and then the tools show up. The tools always show up. Yeah, that's amazing. And like the mice, like their hair. So I just did this presentation in West Virginia last week, and for the first time I had a lady in the audience being like, my hairdresser hates me. I don't have gray hair anymore. Like, you neither. So I had yeah, no, I know. She's like, first day is every 4 weeks, then it was every 6 weeks, then it's every 8 weeks. I mean, for me, taking it religiously now since January, morning and night, I have a weird shoulder injury, probably from too many burpees. And I'll just blame my husband. And my skin changed. I'm like, my skin, like, I can see this in my skin. On the outside, what is it doing for my heart? What is it doing inside my bones? And out of the 50 to 100 trillion cells right now in your body, you don't know where your telomeres are the shortest. So, like Jason, it went to like your heel, right? Did you have like a?
Yes. It's just a little bit. So I had dinosaur feet, so cracky.
Dinosaur feet?
Yeah, they were bleeding. Like I used to be able to pull a half-inch off of my.
Oh,
Oh, they were pretty bad. So I can call it. I've never really been a believer of this. She's been on it forever, and I'm just like, yeah. I've seen this, been there. We all know the gimmicks.
yeah.
And she's like, no, you're gonna do it. So I said, okay. So I got on in 3 weeks, like feet, like healed like 50%. They've been like that for like 10 years. So it was amazing. So like 6 weeks, they're completely healed. My yeah, she was all
I was like, what are you doing?
they were like sandpaper yachts. But she was pretty happy with it. What would help me is I got the energy. Like Joe spoke about everyone else. Is I went through a tough time. I went through a divorce. I lost my kids, everything. But being on isogenesis really gave me that uplift, that energy that I needed, mainly for my health. A lot of people do it for weight loss, and that's great. Me, it was my mental health that it did tremendous things with me. My memory is the sharpest it's probably ever been. I'm not an A student. Growing up, I've always been. Yes, I am now. So it's really helped my memory. It's helped my energy to keep up with my 3-year-old being 48. It's tough. So she did a lot of hollering at me. I just want to thank. I want to thank Kathy because she put a lot of work in here. Gerald and Chance. I'm not a salesman. I just said, hey guys, come here. I care about you. I give Chance is an athlete. I work with Gerald. I know he has some goals. Same with Kathy, and that's why we said, we'll just come. We'll let Laura speak for herself. And if they don't come out of here doing it, I'd be shocked. That's up to
I mean, that's you're right. I always say it's a magnet when you know. I And you know, even the more I dive into Alzheimer's, because I've just been interested in it, you know, it's not that, because I've heard amazing stories, and I can't even I can't even say all the stories because I have to remain compliant. I just have to say, when you unlock what the body can do, your body's the miracle. We slap on a Band-Aid. I have a 9-year-old, and I slap a Band-Aid on his skin, and I don't think about it. I don't think about like the skin cells going to like, you know, collaborate and all heal that cut and stop bleeding and, you know, fix itself and scab over and then disappear. Your body is the miracle. And so what we're sharing tonight is, you know, just how can you unlock, because anything that is alive is meant to thrive. When you water a plant, and I literally kill all my plants. Scott is a plant waterer. I kind of feel a little judged when she comes over. It's like, I can't do that. No, my husband's a plant waterer, but just when you water a plant and the stalk suddenly comes back to life, that is telomerase. That is the telomere inside the plant. Anything alive is meant to thrive. It is our natural state. We just move away from it. Did you want to say something, Pam?
I wanted to give a testimony on somebody else's.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I have a friend that has Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's. And he started telomere isogenesis and the isogen, the Forever Pack, about 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago. And within 2 weeks, his speech had improved. Like people could understand what he was saying. And it was really difficult to understand what he was saying.
Okay, so what was he taking?
Yeah.
Just the Forever Pack.
Just,
Just the Forever Pack, the isogenesis and the isolene shake. Okay. 4 capsules total in a day and 1 shake a day. And within 2 weeks, his speech had improved significantly. That people were like, "Wow, I can understand you." So that's a huge testament to the how your body can heal itself with the right stuff, the right nutrition.
thank you. And again, I can't explain if it's cure, treat, or diagnose or whatever disease is, but I could just say, again, if your cells want to be healthy, and Darwinism, the fittest survive. So whichever the strongest will survive. So it's about this telomerase stuff. It gets your healthy cells healthier. That's the point, because then the unhealthy cells just dissolve away. All right, so just to continue on, I just want to bring it up to speed, just to close out with the Forever Pack. I just share with you the background science of telomeres, cell biology, and some of that stuff. But what happened was John Anderson and Bill Andrews collaborated. These are 2 brilliant minds. So Dr. Bill Andrews is the one who led the team of scientists and researchers, millions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. Tested every chemical compound, plant-based compound, and everything that he tested after those 300,000 were all toxic. We could not, put them in our body. John Anderson, someone's like, you need to talk to John Anderson, the founding formulator of Isogenics. He's known for the plant-based, botanical, organic, mineral world. He literally has been known as this hippie mineral man, traveling planet Earth, pulling things out of the mountains, like Shilajit off the Himalayan mountains, and saying, if it could grow here in this mountainside, what would this plant do for the human body? So what Bill Andrews was pushing the envelope on in telomere and gene research, Bill Andrews, John Anderson has been pushing the envelope in the mineral and plant kingdom world, okay? And as the mineral man, before Isogenics, he had created over 3,000 health products, natural health products, for over 600 companies. And typically a master formulator is only brought into maybe 6 companies in their whole lifetime as a lab scientist, and then they get to collaborate with 10 other amazing scientists. John Anderson, 600 companies. So his depth and his brilliance is really brought in a whole other level. He had done very well, but I actually had dinner with the man once, and he was like, I was always so frustrated because whenever it went to market, in Whole Foods, wherever, anywhere, any of his stuff, it would always be compromised. The integrity of what he would design in the lab behind the scenes would somehow be compromised with a preservative or an additive or a filler or something so the middleman could make an extra dollar. Okay, so he did well, he retired, and someone introduced him to Bill Andrews. And when this introduction happened, he realized, he's like, now I know exactly what I just said earlier. Now I know everything that I've done has led me to this. He's like, now I know why everything I've done has led me to your telomere science. He's like, I know I can extract. He just has a CO2 plant machine where he blows up plants with a CO2 machine all day in his lab. He still does. He's in his 70s. And how do you extract, when you go to and get a vitamin, you could look at the back of the vitamin, and I'll pass this around. It's all plant-based stuff. If you guys know your stuff, I don't know. I don't know my stuff, but anyone plant-based or very naturopath, or I've had all these nutritionists look at it and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. As you go around and look at the ingredients, if you're an ingredient person, just know that it's not just the ingredients. I can't just go to the vitamin shop and say I need to just put all those ingredients in my body. Although they're all good ingredients, it's how things are extracted, at what heat level, what like strand 75, what pH level. So that's John Anderson's brilliance. And he created Isogenics to really help bring minerals back into the body. But in the last like 8 years, they've been collaborating, and he sent over to Bill's lab, the only lab in the whole world that can test for telomerase induction. There's been some Me Too products that are like, oh yeah, we can enhance telomeres. Bill's lab is the only one in the world, Sierra Sciences, it's not part of Isogenics. They just collaborate with Isogenics that can test for telomerase induction. But John Anderson sent him over 15 plant-based compounds. And he's like, 15? Really? Like, we've tested hundreds of thousands, you're gonna send me 15? And they got 2 hits. So in Science is an assay chart, and they got 2 hits that were off the chart. And he was like, you've exceeded our control. I can't believe it. What are you doing over there? That was his call over to John Anderson. Like, this is unmatched. So that was the inception of Isogenesis. And what I'm passing around, it's pills. It's 2 in the morning, 2 at night. It's all plant-based. And they're on their 4th generation now. They're working on their 5th. I mean, John Anderson right now is in the lab, like working on the next level of this. They're always pushing the envelope by Isogenics. It's one thing that I love about them. I always believe in nutritional intervention, not surgical or pharmaceutical, whenever possible. Because Hippocrates was like, let food be thy medicine. He's like the inventor of medicine, right? And that's what we're talking about here in terms of back to basics. So with athletes in the room? Yes, athletes, chance. We've worked with like top Ironman people, I mean, Olympians, pro football players. We have like the top of the top athletes loving this product because for athletes, they're like repair and recover faster. Yes. Yeah, soul cycle. No, it's like, soul cycle, champion. No, seriously. No, I love it. But these like ultra marathoners, I mean, again, I work with a lot of Ironman people, triathletes. It is all about how can I prepare faster so I can go harder tomorrow, get out there again. And so athletes absolutely love the Isogenesis because it's all about recovery. Bill Andrews himself, the scientist behind all this, is the oldest person to complete the 60-hour, 138-miler. He's a major ultramarathoner at an altitude of 18,000 feet. He completed it in 50 hours. He's now I think he's in his 60s. He's literally beating out his records in his 40s, in his 60s. And he's the man behind all this. Dave MacArthur, who taught me about Isogenesis, is the man who brought it to the medical world. When he started learning about this, I mean, he was a mechanic. He's known as Mechanic to Millionaire because he just wanted to bring his wife to dinner in a movie and get like better with it. And once he found out, and then he had his own personal recovery story. He had a pilon fracture. You guys know I'm saying it right? Literally, it's like the glass shattering in his entire leg. He had a motocross accident, and his bone completely shattered. The doctor said, maybe you'll walk in a year. You'll never run again, and you'll walk with a limp. Okay? He's just like, no way. And again, the whole impossible idea. It was 3 months, 12 weeks. He's running stadium stairs. They have this on YouTube. Like, shocking. Again, so he then brought this to the medical community. I mean, the doctors, a lot of doctors, some know, some don't know. My sister called me up yesterday from New Jersey. She's like, my niece had to go in for emergency root canal yesterday. And it's amazing for dentists too, because my mom even her gums. And I was like, my gums have never been this good in my mouth. She's always had like periodontic work. But my sister was talking to the endodontist, 10 years of medical schooling to be to do what she does. And, she was talking about visiting me in Malibu. She was like, my sister, she lives in Malibu, she's like, what does she do? She starts talking about Isogenics and Isogenesis. And she had never heard of a telomere. And by the end, the endodontist is like, grabbing my sister and giving her personal information. When she's like, I need to know more about this. So now I'm communicating with her. Because it's amazing for recovery, for repair. Okay, you're gonna need to ban this lady. This lady, Kathy Tank, you gotta pass Kathy around. Because this picture, this lady lives in California by me. And she's my idol. She's one of my idols. Because when you see the picture of her before and after, and you see how glum she was before to where she is at now after, it's literally shocking. It's literally, isn't that crazy? It's crazy amazing. And the same thing that you'll see, it's insane. I mean, it looks like a different person. I have people that now, I have men,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna squeeze down here so I can.
Sometimes I'll post
That's all right.
videos just like this on Facebook, and I get comments all the time. That person's not real. That's a fake person. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's the same person. So it is incredible how these transformations make you look like a completely different person. It is. And by the way, I have to let everybody know. I don't know if I can say it. Did you guys know Floyd Money Mayweather is on Isagenix too? You guys know that, right?
No.
Yeah. Rocks, yeah. So I mean, if that guy takes it, then you know it's hard work. Yeah, he's a world champion.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Floyd Money Mayweather, yeah. Money making Mayweather. Yeah.
All right, so the next slide too, it's homemade, yeah.
And the Rock.
This is Happy Time on the right. Oh gosh, I didn't even mention that. On the right side, she's 70. She's 70. She's now 72. We do the science talk every Monday night. She's on our talk every Monday night because she's just unbelievable. She's 70. This is her before. This is her at 70. She's now 72. It is shocking. This is yeah, this is 67 to 70. Thank you. Okay, we have the point. All right, if you guys, Muhammad Ali. Oh, wait, I gotta show you one more thing. Can you guys see this? Okay, this guy, they were literally putting him in a nursing home. They would go to his house, get oxygen wires all over his house. They were like, what do we do with Dad? Time for the nursing home. Putting him away, basically. Okay? This is him now. Okay, he's actually now 89. So this is actually, this was his transformation over the years. And it's just, again, story after story, but this is Amy was a dentist, and she happened to be at the presentation that Dave MacArthur was doing. Got her father-in-law, who's this guy, Dick, on it, and he's now, he's now. I mean, it's insane. And again, we could pass this around, because I know it's really hard. This guy is the Colonel Bob Sheridan. He was the announcer for the Muhammad Ali fight. He literally looks like his own son. That's a 2-year transformation. I mean, that's a 2-year transformation. So, guys, I mean, these are from Dave's presentation because he has so many. He's been doing this for so many years. I mean, I have my own because I keep getting stories in like every day. It's shocking. People that I shared with it back in Christmas time that are now even 6 months in. You know, don't just give it. If you do decide to do it, don't give it just 30 days. Like it takes 120 days for something to assimilate in your full body and in a healthy body. So if you have toxicity and impurities in your cells from an overload of stress, it has a harder time getting in nutrition. And that's what Isagenix is really about. It's about getting your body. Isagenix means balanced life. And Isagenesis, the name of the nutritional supplement, is Genesis is the beginning of. And that's what I'm here. Like I'm like, if you could just get to the root of everything. Our society thinks about our symptoms and then like what medicine can we take from the symptoms outside in versus like can we just get to the core of every issue, which is cellular and out inside out. And what if in 120 days, you know, there's very different things going on in your body. And then 6 months in, a very different body. Like 2 years in, a completely different body. And I see this over and over and over again. So to me, it's like, I was the biggest skeptic. I told my friend no to this for 2 years. I literally was a no never. I wasn't even just a no. I was like, can we just go to coffee? Can you stop telling me about Isagenix? Okay, I was a no never.
You were.
Right?
Because I remember back in those days,
Yeah.
when you first did Isagenix, you said, I'm sorry to talk to you guys about this. I have Pearl Street. This is it. We're talking about this, but this is kind of something I want to get into. And you were like,
so hesitant.
So
Yes.
You
I-
didn't even tell me what you were doing.
I know, wait, Paul had asked me like 7 times.
She
You
didn't
were.
tell me I was
You were.
working out 2 to 4 hours a day in my 30s. I was I was a powerlifter. In-state, out-of-state, national competition winner and state. And she wouldn't tell me what she was doing.
I didn't
She
wanna
was
sell stuff.
afraid to tell me
Yeah.
what
You didn't
she
want to
was
sell
doing.
stuff.
I didn't
That's
wanna sell
exactly it. I don't
didn't
want to
wanna
sell
sell
stuff.
That's the biggest.
Okay, and I literally shunned the network marketing model because I can't even tell you how many times people were like, and I get it now, okay, from the gym, it was real people, real results. I didn't want from our Pearl Street Fitness, I never wanted to do print advertising. I was kind of like, if we're good, people will talk about us.
Yes.
And I was like, duh, if this is good, people will talk about it. I didn't make that connection until one of my best friends had a health scare. And she had a breast cancer scare, and she had to lose 40 pounds. And I was 4 years into the product as a closet user. 4 years, using Isagenix, having people like Paula beg me, be like, what are you doing? And so I'm standing up here tonight, like I'm out of the closet, and I was the skeptic. I was a skeptic because, and for all the skeptics in the room, when you're centrally strong in who you are, like nothing really gets in unless it really congruently matches who you are, right, at your core. So I don't let a lot of things in. But when my best friend had a cancer scare and she had to lose 40 pounds, and I knew I had something in my back pocket that could help her, and I was like, Stacey, I'm a nutritionist, put this Isagenix stuff in your body. I think it can help you. Like, I know it can help you, just do it. I'll sort of your coach. And she looked at me one day and she said, Laura, this saved my life. And I like literally got a shock through my body and like probably a big whack on my face, you know, from something. And I was like, what am I doing? Not sharing this with the world. Like I'm meant to like put stuff out there into the world. And so that was it. Because I had that recollection of what I went through. I didn't want her kids to go through what I went through as a kid. I didn't want her to go through cancer. And that's what brought me out. She took me to an Isagenix university. I started learning about the nutrition and science of just honestly, not even this aging stuff. It wasn't, I don't even know if it was out yet. I started learning about the other part of the Forever Pack, which was all about, you know, toxicity and our stressful bodies. And this is what was so intriguing to me because we are under stress. Stress is today's modern day plague. It is our plague. Emotional stress, mental stress, work stress, physical stress from my husband's workouts, you know, all these things stress us out. I don't do that. I don't participate in the day job. But guys, think about the stress. And like I really actually want you to think actually wholeheartedly of what, like just like I shared the story with my mom, who brought you the gift of health? You know, because someone said that to me. I went to an event in LA a couple weeks ago, and they're like, wasn't it so awesome that your mom gave you that gift of health? You didn't have to endure something yourself. Like, who, you know, think about right now, who made you realize that without health, we don't have anything? Nothing. Because even if you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? So just like silently thank that person, even if it was yourself, pat yourself on the back. We've all been through something. And it's the silent struggles that we carry, the most stressful struggles. I know a couple of years ago when I was in a lot of financial stress, that stress played a toll on my physical body. Financial stress, I think, is one of the worst stresses. So when I realized I was owning fitness, a company, but I was like, fitness is not just physical. Like I said, it's all those other things, it's also financial. So when you're carrying that stress, it's hard. And also on top of it, you know, like my father-in-law said, you know, they had a dairy farm in Vermont, his family. And the produce and stuff from Vermont back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s is not the same as today. Our farming is not the same as today, but no matter what. It would take 50 bowls of spinach, 50, to have the mineral intake that one bowl of spinach had in 1950. Okay, one bowl versus 50. I'm like, all right, I try to be like Popeye, but I can't. Right? I'm like, oh my God. And our cells are constantly like taking minerals in. If you're not getting enough minerals from your food sources, so as organic as you might eat, and I was one of those skeptics, and I was telling this to Chance earlier, because he was like, his wife is all organic and stuff. Like, I totally was that person. Like, if it doesn't come from the land or the sky or the this, like, I'm not gonna put them in now. Well, 15%. But 85% intentional healthy. But like if you could go and you are making a 600 to 800 calorie meal and it is still deficient, your brain is still gonna send a signal. Your cells are sending a signal to your brain saying, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And you have like a bankrupt meal and you're trying, right? And you're tired and you're hungry because so there's a graph that shows as minerals went down in our soil, then mineral-based diseases went up. So again, a mineral-deficient body, guess where your body will look for it? In your bones. It will steal the minerals from your bones and your organs. It will take it out of your bones and organs, which is why kids today are getting osteoporosis at like my son's ages, because they're eating Cheetos and all these fun things, which is great in moderation, I need it, but it's 15% fun. However, if you're not getting the minerals, you're gonna get osteoporosis. It's gonna find it somewhere. So the other part of the Forever package is just get the isogenic shake in your body because it's a full meal replacement, but what makes it so special is it's packed with minerals. It's so packed with minerals, and that's where John Anderson has really come, like, you have so much energy and stuff because as you have a shake, your cells are finally like, thank you, I'm satisfied. They're getting different signals when you just have one shake a day.
When do you have that shake? When?
When? Put it in your most vulnerable time of day. So if you are not a breakfast eater, have it for breakfast because it'll set you up for success for the day. If you slump in the mid-afternoon, have it at like 1 or 2 o'clock so you actually have sustained energy. If you're like me, I used to like go home at 5 or 6 o'clock and eat the house down, have a glass of wine and like totally eat everything before dinner, have it at 3 or 4 o'clock. So figure out your most vulnerable time of day. If you're an emotional eater at night, have it after dinner. And then you're not gonna be hungry at 10 or 11. You're gonna be really not just emotionally bound, like you're gonna be full, satisfied, but then your brain's getting different chemical signals, saying, I'm satisfied. I don't have the sugar craving anymore. I don't have that. So always go back like 2 hours and start inserting the shake in your most vulnerable time. That is your best time. And think about that. Because most people I found are not eating enough. And one of the keys to weight loss and feeling better is eating more throughout the day. So the shake comes in handy. I actually often have 2 shakes a day. One as a meal, one as a snack. So I do one for breakfast because I would skip breakfast. One for breakfast, tiny snack, regular lunch. I have that 3 o'clock shake, and then it makes me have a smaller dinner. So I usually go into dinner very satisfied. So again, you have to find when it works best for you. Anyone else have a question about that?
So I was wondering how many people are having
Oh, what?
Facebook group.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm curious.
You mean, anyone in the legacy lifestyle group?
Yeah.
Like no of it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What? I didn't
The only
know.
reason- so-
What's his secret
The
society?
only reason why I was asking was, okay, I'm a
Super
so-
secret, bro.
The only
Could
reason
have
I was
passed.
asking, because when she's going through all these pictures, and you're like, these people great, like, I don't know these people. So, I love her, but I don't love her. Because she put a picture of me in a bikini. So there's a before and after.
I'm sure you
I
look
know,
freaking
I-
hot.
I've read one. But, so there is a picture, so it does work. So if you want a real person,
If you
like-
want to see it, like a really good picture. If you want to see all of us in this room for our before and afters, go online or our Facebook.
There's there is a real person. You don't know.
Get a pH strip. Like one of the easiest things that costs cents. For $5, you get a pack.
I am down that.
For $5, you get a pack of 100 pH strips. Just spit on it. You put your spit
Does
in a
anyone have
spoon.
something?
I don't know. I was gonna bring it. All right. I forgot the name of it. You
I
spit.
have my own website, it's $20. You get before and after pictures.
Just spit in a spoon
Or
or you
glass
pee on it.
Oh, look at
pH balance,
Where, how do you
your
test
cravings will shift. So you gotta get the pH balance. On an empty stomach, like 2 hours on an empty stomach, spit into a spoon. You dip the pH strip in, just like you're testing the pool water.
Also, it's saliva.
Yeah, saliva. You can pee on it.
Or
You can pee on it.
My
My
father-in-law
father-in-law.
You can do urine too. I've done urine. Urine is more. Second.
Better? Is it better?
Yeah. Yes.
I was probably totally against this system. I didn't like the twins. Thank God we got rid of that. And I think the Forever Pack has really helped myself. I've had 3 stents, and I think it has helped. And I have the Burby son behind me, and but I think that they're on the right track, and I think it's really healthy for them. I think that Forever Pack is really helping, making it much easier for the general public to accept it. So it's not that I
Thank you.
but that's
It's so much simpler.
telling you where.
Yeah. My father-in-law, the St. John.
They still want 50 burpees.
We took a major turn from major packs. I mean, you started value pack, like 11, 12 products, all these things, and you have to feel like you're a nutritional coach. Like, I just want to help people upspiral their lives. 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night, 1 shake a day. If you decide to, like, in a couple of weeks, take another shake, that's great. You don't have to, because we found consistency and health becoming a habit just helps people shift. Then your habits change. It's like going to Soul Cycle now. Like, when you start to make health a habit, other things start to upspiral too. So then your, attitude. Like, I talked to a lady the other day, 1 weekend, she's like 6 pounds down, and she's like, I went to an all-you-can-eat place, and I would have usually, like, ate all the French fries. She's like, Laura, I didn't go back for the French fries. It was all-you-can-eat French fries. She told me like 10 times. And then she's like, but you know what? I had a monumental night last night. And I was like, what? She was like, for the first time ever, I walked across the lawn with my grandson without having to hold on to someone else. I was like, what? I'm like, I started to tear. And she's like, yeah, and I'm doing 5,000 steps a day instead of 2,000 steps. She's like, my psoriasis feels better. My depression is lifting at night. Like, I'm not emotional eating. Like, literally, guys, like, I can't even tell you every single day of what's happening in terms of the story. So you see all the fun before and afters, but I always tell people, your body is the best science. It's your body that's the science. It's your body that's the miracle. Isogenics just helps us get to our natural state. And when that happens, you can't, like, without even trying, people will be asking you, what are you doing and what is different about you? And sometimes it's a weight loss thing. Sometimes they're just like, huh, you're happier. Oh, you're more balanced. You're not biting my head off at work. Or, right? I mean, it's all different things that people find that are just, because if you're feeling better, your biochemistry changes, your attitude shifts. But what it has unlocked for people, it becomes a natural thing to share, because it no longer, like my father-in-law said, we used to like share these packs, and just like Lori and Paula can attest to, I was very hesitant because I did not want to just sell stuff to people, but I really wanted to help transform people's lives. And I didn't ever want to force anyone into anything they weren't ready for. And what I've realized over the last years now is when people are ready, it is easy because your body is ready to release stuff. And you can either stare and try and drag the people through the door that you want to help get healthy, but then all your focus, like energy, is literally getting poured out of you because you're trying to drag people to come and get healthy with you. Or you can say, hey, listen, just come, you might find this interesting, or take a look at foreverpack.com. There's a website, foreverpack.com, that describes from Dave MacArthur in 20 minutes what I've gone through a lot of tonight in like a really good video format of just the nuts and bolts of the Nobel Prize and the shake and just how this 1-2 punch, because the number one thing for telomere shortening that like will stop it from shortening is you put food in your mouth all the time. And if you can put healthier food in your mouth, it stops the telomeres from shortening as much. So like everything to me is about supporting the telomeres and again, getting your body into a pH balance. And when that starts to happen, like just know, for those of you who are new, I'll pass these around, but you know, it's $5.50 a day. So to me, that was another no-brainer because it used to cost like $300 to $500 to get people set up with all these big packs. Is now the cup of coffee that people spend easily. So the shake itself is less than $3 and can be a meal. So again, if you're like grabbing a Whole Foods, I mean, I grabbed the lunch next door to you today. $21, I think I spent on a salad and a drink, okay? A power salad and a drink, which was great, but $21, that is 7 Isagenix meals. That's a whole week of the Forever Pack meals, okay? And then the 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. So that is so simple. And again, it's all plant-based. That's $5.50 a day. So the pills are like $2 a day, $79 a bottle. You could buy one or the other, that's okay too. If someone's just like, I just want to try one or the other, that's okay too, but it really is a powerful 1-2 punch. And when that happens, you will become an example of possibility. If you do decide to do it, people will ask you, what are you doing? And when you do share it and pass it on and say, just like what Jason does, you know, just take a look at this video. I don't know, whatever you tell people, right? What do you say? What do you say?
So the 8 people I shared the video with, 4 of them watched it. Well, actually 6. 6 of them watched it. So there was 8 people I shared the video with. 4 of them, Paula's 2, my 2 guys here showed up. I signed up 2 people, and the 2 that didn't watch it didn't come. So the hardest part is to get them watching the video. If you get them to watch the video, which is, it's hard because people don't have 20 minutes. But if you keep on them and make them watch it, like I kept bugging him, he was a little irritated. But he finally watched it, he came.
Yes. The thing about Jason compared to what I was doing previously is that you know when you pick up the phone, he picks up the phone, he calls somebody, he says, I know you want to lose weight, or hey, I know you're a fitness person, or hey, you know what, I know that you need some energy in your life. And he just says, hey, watch this 20-minute video, and guess what, I'm going to call you tomorrow, find out what you think about it, and we're just going to go, because this works. This is what we need. This is what's worked for us. Let me know what you think, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Watch it tonight. And he made it so simple. He made it so simple for everybody. Just watch the video. I'm going to call you tomorrow. And that's it. It's the beautiful thing, everybody, that no pressure or anything, but I'm going to call you tomorrow. Watch it tonight. So guess what? 20 minutes can absolutely change your life. 20 minutes can change your life.
And the hardest part is getting that 20 minutes. But after that, they're good.
It's easy. It's easy. Where are you at, Laura?
So Laren.
He is.
Yeah, let's go through the consultant. Yeah.
Okay. I want to introduce my friend Laren. They say like it's always about like who you're also going to meet along the way, which is everybody, right? I mean, everyone's here in my path in some amazing ways. And I signed up someone at our gym that was just like a very happy product user because what was happening at our gym, once I finally got out of my own way, was I started sharing it. And within 30 days, people were like, wait. I know that's a hard workout here. And people like, were like, what's happening to Nick? What's Susan doing? What's Erin doing? What's Sarah up to? Because their bodies literally were transforming in front of their eyes. And so it started to grow. One of those ladies that I signed up, Julie, then went to Matthew Morris Salon and started just talking about it while she was getting a haircut. Signed up Andrea, who's the hairdresser still there, and Matthew Morris, and Laren, who's the general manager, like helped build like the multi-million, like $6 million salon. She's a builder of all incredible brands. So she just passed on her credit card. You can tell the story.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, like her, it took years for her to say yes. A lot of people took 4 or 5 times to watch this video. For me, she was like, I think this would help with your tummy issues. I was like, here's my credit card. Like, I didn't ask one question. I suffered from, I won't go too much into my health
information. So I was willing to try anything at that point. I can't claim it, but I will literally say Isagenix saved my life. It was that bad, and it changed my life within 2 weeks. I naturally started sharing, because that's what we do when we believe in something. So I didn't know anything about network marketing. I had this vision to build this huge empire in the beauty industry. I didn't care about it, but when all of a sudden that money started rolling in, and it was like $500 a month, $800 a month, $1,000 a month, it dramatically shifted my life. It really relieved me from a lot of financial stress. I think the biggest thing is never make assumptions about anybody. You might be like, oh, this person's really successful, they don't need that. Or they seem really happy at their job, they don't need that. From an outsider's perspective, everyone's like, she's living her dream job, but I was like miserable, I was unfulfilled, I was going home to a crappy apartment, before things in my life, I had a lot of financial stress. But like, it changed that and relieved me from a lot of financial stress for it that no one probably would have known. And within 2 years, I was able to like leave my job and go all in. So 2 years ago, she took us to Napa. There was a couple of us for a leadership event. And I was like, this is what I want to do every day. Like, I want my life to be like this. I want to be able to just wake up and actually like pour into people and impact people every single day. So I was able to leave my job. And I think that was 2 years ago. And now, I think the biggest shift was us going to the Forever Pack. At the end of last year, we talked and we were like, there has to be a simpler way. Not everybody. I love that you said it. It's less complicated. It's a great way to put it. 30-day systems were amazing. That's what I started on. That's what she started on. But that's not easy for everybody to share with people. It's not easy to be like, when all these people are working so hard and like the top realtor, she doesn't have time to go coach people on Wednesdays and all these things. And what I started to notice was I was pouring into people and spending a lot of time with people on their 30-day journeys, and then a couple months would go by and they would stop. And I was like, oh my gosh, you just transformed your life. Why are you stopping? Like, this is working. But what we've noticed with the Forever Pack is less is more. And now people are adding things on within a couple weeks. And they're saying, I love this. I'm seeing the results so much faster. Like, I want to try this. I want to try this. The retention is massive. It's been like the fastest and biggest game changer for us. And it's not about the money. It's not about the business. It's the power of duplication of impact for people's lives. And so now it's easy for people to share, and everything's just growing so fast for people because it's easy and simple.
I love when it's come full circle. Like, I'm all about the spiral. We're at Blanchard Family Wines right now, and I used to be chair of the board for Colorado Youth for Change here, and that was to help kids, not drop out of high school, or once they did drop out of high school, we helped them get back on a path. And Blanchard Family Wines, not only was one of their family members impacted, we helped their daughter, then they became a huge supporter. And at the CYC fundraising event, I bought a trip to Napa that we took our top Isagenix leaders to, and we toured Blanchard Family Wines in California. And we sat with the guys, and they wrote on these things that she wanted to send and quit her job. And these guys were sitting with us, they're talking about how they also dreamed about opening a restaurant. Like, here we are today. They make this stuff up, right? I love that. And when, I was like, Lyran, Paula and Kim were like, we need to have an event. I'm like, I'll fly in, and I'm coming in anyway to Denver. And then she's like, oh, Blanchard Family Wines. I'm like, what? They opened their place. So again, full circle with everybody here. Everything is just meant to be in this moment, wherever you are in your health journey, wherever you are in your life. I really encourage you to take a look at both sides. The health journey, the way I shunned not sharing it was because, every time my friend would call me being like, you own gyms, how are you not sharing? You could be making blah, 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 and she'd rattle off numbers. And I'm not a numbers person. I'm a people person. I want to change people from my heart. Every time she'd be like, you could be making $5,000 off of it. Maybe that speaks to you. That's awesome. Whatever makes you happy. But it wasn't speaking to my heart. And I'd always hang up and be like, I'm way too busy. I'm having another kid. I'm opening up the gym. I was way too busy. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I don't sell products. You don't get it. So finally, when I started sharing it and it started really taking off, I didn't realize how much under financial stress I was. I was never seeing my husband. I was leaving at 5 in the morning to train people at our gym. He was coming home at 9:30 at night as I was putting them to bed. With our, you saw him all the time. I was teaching 30 classes a week. We couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, well, what if, not only, it was the perfect storm. Our nutritionist moved to Evergreen, and my Stacy friend, had that health scare. And I gotta start doing this. I'm like, something else has to give financially for us. And it just exploded because it wasn't just the power of people in our gym. Suddenly we started, transforming people's lives outside our four walls. And people were like, I've got to sign up my sister in Florida. I've got to share this with my friend in Las Vegas. Oh my gosh, I have a family in Spain. Are you in Spain? Yes, we're in Spain. We're in 17 countries. And before you know it, I'm sitting with Scott and we have an additional couple $1,000s coming in that I'm like, oh my God, this is changing everything. We can now hire people. Then I reinvested it right back into the business. And I just want to bring my husband back. I want my husband to be able to pick up my children from school. Had my person called me and said, versus the numbers being like, do you want Scott to pick your kids up from school? Yes, let me share whatever it is that will get. So think about your why right now financially, because I know when I was stressed out financially and flip-flopping over bills at night and never seeing my husband, we lived a very different life than our lifestyle right now on vacation, living on in Malibu, California, down the street from a beach. I just started drawing palm trees. And I'm like, what am I doing? I just wanted the picture of my 3 boys playing football in the sand with my husband. And I was just sitting watching them giggle. That is all my vision was. And we're there now. And I'm like, because we've helped so many people and I got out of my way. Because there's a lot of bad companies in network marketing. Then I realized there's a lot of bad massage therapists. There's even bad cops. It doesn't mean they're all bad. So what I quickly had to realize is when I met with the founders of Isagenix, real people sharing real results. These people came out of multi-million-dollar retirement to start this company. And that's when my head turned as an entrepreneur. I was like, they came out of on vacay, what I wanted. They came out of the golf course, where they lived, to do this. And when I went to the corporate headquarters in Arizona and I felt the integrity, and then they turn away raw ingredients if they're not to their standard. It exceeds organic, USDA organic standards. I look at standards in New Zealand, Canada, Europe, other countries where, because the FDA, it's all kind of corrupt here-ish, with pharma and all this stuff here. So I just want to really encourage you. The more I stripped away my skepticism and lack of trust, I realized that was just me. The more full of integrity this company is. And when you start to share it, it's such a simple system, that can multiply with something that's this simple. I've never seen as many people. I just went again to West Virginia, this tiny little town, okay, and because the realtor signed up her mom, who was so skeptical, again, the whole mom, skeptical, come on mom, and she signed up her mom because her mom was about to do something else. And her mom was about to start some other shit program or whatever. I'm like, she's like, you better start lying before you start this person's. That she put it, and she lost all this weight. She felt amazing. She signed up 22 people. I'm like, Debbie, you're starting to make thousands of dollars. I'll drive to you. I flew to New Jersey. I drove down with my mom to West Virginia. We did an event. Okay, their little pod now in West Virginia, because it's so small town, is busting open. Because the spa owner there, signed up for a massage therapist, who signed up for a Reiki master, who signed up for this. I'm literally having calls every single day today. Every day with this little, just going and meeting the people here tonight, okay? Because when you share with 5 people, when you share with 2 people, your pack's paid for. 2, you get back $170. So just send foreverpack.com. If you're business-minded or you just people-centered-minded, at least pass it on and lean into the science. And the best tips I could give is move people with your heart, being I don't know, it's just working for me. But then lean into the science. So I lead with my heart, being that sounds hard, what you're going through. But then your logical brain wants to connect your heart with the science. So then just send them foreverpack.com. If it's for them, if anyone came around today being that was intriguing. I'm coming to learn more. They're gonna know whether it's for them or not. If they do it, again, this can go with wildfire, because people that I have never asked for a credit card are telling their friends about it because they're it's $5 a day. You're eating this anyway. You're doing it anyway. So you're displacing the same money. And when you start moving on suddenly a lot of products, it's not you signing up 100 people. You can go sign up 100 people and do very well. But when you sign up 5 people who share it with 5 people who share it with 5 people, that multiplication of this model, you're up to 781 people on your team by you enrolling 5 intentional people. And that's $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month. And that $500 a month changes people's lives. So a couple people sharing with a couple people sharing with a couple people, literally it's $500 a month. That would save most foreclosures in America. So I always tell people, like, don't discount, don't do what I did. Just staying in the closet for all those years. Like, listen to people that are having some hardship and just say, that sounds hard. I think I can help you with that. And send them to foreverpack.com, P-A-K, and just say, take a look at this thing. If it speaks to you, maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. If I say, if it's for you, you're gonna love me, because your life's about to change. If it's not for you, no biggie, because I don't need to drag anything. That's it. That's all I tell people. And this thing multiplies, and it can be hundreds of dollars a month or thousands of dollars a month. For me, it's like, get out of any financial stress and move into this, or at least take a look at it. Or if you want to talk business with me, it goes on and on. Because David MacArthur taught me this model in January, and he's made over $10 million. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, he's made $10 million. I'm like, teaching.
You can ship to Europe.
Yeah, and they're in Europe now. Yeah. But tens of, I mean, he's now created a model where he's making $90,000 to $100,000 a month. And he started out as a verb mechanic. So I was like, you're on something. And that's what he's onto. He's onto the science and keeping it simple and just rolling out something that duplicates itself. So guys, I want to just give yourselves a round of applause, everyone, especially who participated. And I want to thank, the leaders in the room that brought people with you, those who came and showed up reluctantly or with, vigor. I appreciate all of you for coming and learning more. Thank you all of you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.